Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. During this last week, we dealt with two major precipitation events. The first event came in through the Monday-Tuesday time frame, primarily impacting western Nebraska, northern Nebraska, basically missing much of south central and southeast Nebraska. And then we've seen the cold air behind that front come in, and we've seen hard freeze conditions reported in the northern half of the Panhandle, north central Nebraska, and northeast Nebraska during the Wednesday and the Thursday time frame. So far, the lowest temperatures we've seen come out of the observation reporting networks has been 24 degrees up in the Harrison region, but we had several locations that were 25 to 26 degrees in the northern Panhandle and portions of northwestern Sandhills. So we've had the hard freeze. Now we dealt with the precipitation following that hard freeze from upper air low to our south, pumping up copious amounts of moisture into our region. Very heavy precipitation in the central plains, including some portions of Nebraska. And that trend will continue over the next 48 hours as the system makes its way to the Great Lakes region. So if we look at the upper air models, what we are going to notice is that we have a big upper air trough to our south, pumping up moisture from the lower levels and the upper layers of the atmosphere, and that is working up into the central United States with a surface low over northern or northeastern Texas, pumping that moisture around that upper air low, bringing that moisture into eastern Nebraska. That will continue as the day progresses, as the heaviest moisture lays out across Arkansas, but as that low lifts to the north, it's really going to wrap some significant moisture across eastern Nebraska as we have the upper air low projected and the surface low projected to be in eastern Iowa as we get into Sunday, and the copious amounts of moisture on the back side of it, inch plus moisture across eastern Nebraska with some mixture of rain and snow as we go into Sunday night into Monday morning. This trough sits over the Great Lakes region for a couple days, so we're going to see some pretty inclement weather over the eastern Corn Belt with a drying pattern developing across the western Corn Belt. We do see a little bit of residual moisture up in the Dakotas and up to our northeast, but for the most part Nebraska should be high and dry as we get into northwest flow on the day on Tuesday. This low pressure system moving in that northwest flow will not have any moisture to work with, so we're looking at just light sprinkles up in the Dakotas, but pretty much all of Nebraska looks to be high and dry. Now as we go into the day on Wednesday, this trough begins to deepen even farther, so we're going to see another surface low develop over eastern Texas, and that low will start to develop heavy precipitation in the southern portions of the region, basically the Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas region that's been hard hit already. We'll see another round of significant moisture, and as this system moves toward the northeast, we're really going to see moisture wrapping up in the eastern Corn Belt. For Nebraska, we're primarily influenced by high pressure, so we're not looking at any major precipitation. Most of it will be to the east with a surface low, and we'd be looking at 3+ inches over a wide stretch of Illinois into Indiana, and then that system will start to make its way out toward the northeast as we get into Friday. Warming temperatures as a temporary bridge of high pressure builds into our region, but we'll pay attention to a low pressure system that looks like it's going to start to slide down late in the day Friday and potentially impact our weather as we get into the second half of next week. And so as we look at the 8 to 14 day forecast, the cool temperatures will be primarily in the first half of the forecast period, moving out as we go through the second half of the forecast period, warm air coming in terms of precipitation, a slight dry trend in the first half, and then this major moisture event begins to come in as we get into the Monday and Tuesday time frame.